All right, let's take a look at the golf swing of Luke Clanton. Luke is currently the fourth ranked amateur in the world, just made the cut a few weeks ago at the US Open in Pinehurst, and a top 10 in his first PGA Tour sanctioned event outside of majors. This is an absolutely wonderful golf swing. I think it's a very athletic golf swing, so let's talk about some aspects of this motion that I love and some things that you can probably learn from a swing like this. Now let's take a look at this iron swing here. For an iron swing, and I believe this is a shorter iron or even a wedge, that's a fairly wide stance. And we actually see that across most of the bag for Luke Clanton. Especially with the driver is naturally going to be a slightly wider stance, but you look at this clip right here, that is a notably wider stance than what we see with a lot of people in terms of hitting a longer club off the tee like a three-wooder driver. Now, Clanton leverages the ground a lot in the golf swing. You'll see a lot of lower body motion, a lot of straightening of his legs. So having that wider stance is just going to allow him to create a more stable and athletic base and connection to the ground. So if you're someone who really has some trouble firing their hips, you feel a little bit restricted and maybe not getting the distance that you want to be getting out of some clubs, then taking a little bit of a wider stance, especially with driver, could help you leverage the ground and create more power in that lower body. Clanton does it wonderfully throughout the bag. Now we're going to get a super slow motion look down the line. As the club passes the hands, it's slightly closed, but look at this position at the top of the backswing right here. You can see that left leg has a decent amount of flexion. That's creating that leveraging of the ground. But look at how rigid that arm is, how flat the wrist is, how high the hands are. It's a super prototypical motion and positioning at the top of the backswing. Clanton then can shallow it out or stay on plane. And I think that's a very important thing to note about Luke Clanton's golf swing, and a big reason for his success is I would say that he has a fairly one plane golf swing. Occasionally he can get a little bit under plane if he's trying to hit a draw, but that swing right there, you saw him hit a pretty notable fade with a short iron. So by having the ability to stay on plane and maybe open up the club face just slightly, that'll create a little baby fade, which he can turn to off the tee, or maybe a little bit lower controlled short iron or wedge shot. But he can also get under plane and keep that club face a little bit closed off and create a really nice draw. So having that variability in the golf swing to be able to work the ball both ways is something that you can only do if you have a very consistent motion and good feel in your hands, and Clanton has that quite nicely. Now touching on the swing rhythm of this golf swing, the number one thing that you always have to look for in swing rhythm is some kind of level of consistency. And across the bag, Clanton has wonderful rhythm. The way that he attacks a wedge is a little bit slower and more controlled, but that takeaway speed, that takeaway rhythm is just about the same going through the entire bag. And it's very difficult to see any level of consistency in your golf swing, in your golf game, if the speed at which you're taking that club away changes. So for many golfers, especially with driver, they'll get a little bit quick. You can see Luke Clanton really gets quick when he's taking the club down, he's creating club speed, but look at that takeaway speed. That takeaway speed is the exact same that we see right here with a short iron. It's so easy to have a driver in your hand and really want to take that club back super fast because you want to hit your drive as far as possible. And on the other side of that coin, it's very easy to take a lob wedge or a 56-degree wedge back too slowly to where you're kind of getting out of position and you might get a little bit stuck. So just work on, and I think a great way to do this is film your swing in real-time speed. Many people will film their golf swing only in slow motion. Film it in real-time speed. Look at your driver swing and compare it to, a gap wedge swing, a sand wedge swing, and look at the takeaway speed and the rhythm. This takes a lot of practice and self-awareness. Luke Clanton clearly practices very hard and has a great deal of self-awareness. He has great coaching behind him, both collegiately and personally, so that's a great way to be able to really dial in that rhythm and tempo. Now my final note on this golf swing comes in the form of his upper body rotation. Look at this really slowed down driver swing. Look at where the back of his shirt points to. It's almost past that target line. It's super, super impressive, the level of upper body rotation that he has, and this often comes in the form of flexibility and strength. I think that any college athlete, any D1 elite level college athlete, spends a lot of time in the gym working on their flexibility and range of motion. It's something that a lot of golfers overlook. If you want to get to the next step, look at that angle right there. That was an iron swing. That upper body rotation is so prominent. And I will say, the more upper body rotation that you have in the golf swing, for many people, it actually complicates things. It makes it more difficult to find the center of the golf ball the more upper body rotation you have. So it takes practice, flexibility, patience, all of that. But Clanton really dials it home nicely. That upper body rotation it's difficult to teach it just because aside from athleticism, it requires so much time in the gym. So if you're looking to get your golf game to the elite level or maybe get down to the low single digit handicaps, you cannot overlook the importance of working on flexibility and strength work to improve your own golf game. I would love to hear your thoughts on this golf swing. I think it's a really type A kind of golf swing for young golfers to look at and learn from. So if you have any questions or comments on anything that I mentioned throughout this video, please leave those in the comment section down below. If you enjoy this swing analysis style of video or you're just looking for general golf instruction, this is a great page to follow. So be sure to subscribe so that you're notified each time that we upload, which is on Wednesdays and Saturdays. As always, I thank you all very much for watching. Play well and take care.